Welcome. My name is Randi Lee. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to take you through a sequence of yoga postures known as the Vinyasa, the ever-elusive Vinyasa that we do so many times in most yoga classes. It's a series of movements that we blend together, and I would like to show you different variations of how you can build them from beginner up to advanced. So this class today will start with beginner Vinyasa, and then we'll build it step by step so that you can start building your own Vinyasa and kind of pick and choose what it is that you'd like to add to your own practice at home. So next time your yoga instructor says, let's Vinyasa, you'll know exactly what that is, and you'll know exactly how you can fit it into your personal practice and also adjust it for your needs. So as always, let's start by centering our breath. And today, I'd offer for you to bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart to bring a little bit more awareness to the movement of the breath. Closing eyes gently. Finding a nice long spine. Start breathing in and out through the nose. Slowing down your breath. Slowing down the mind, the swirlings, the thoughts. Let's leave that outside of this room just for now. So when you breathe in, where do you feel it expanding in the belly? Expanding the lungs, the sternum and shoulders slightly rise. Exhaling, shoulders and sternum lower, ribcage draws in, belly button draws in. Do this over and over again. Couple more breaths on your own. In through the nose. Expanding lungs, expanding belly. Emptying belly, lungs. Once more. It's really important to settle yourself and connect with the breath before movement. It helps you lead with more body awareness, safety in your practice, safe for your body. On your next inhale, let's release the hands from heart and belly, float them up overhead, lifting gaze to the sky. Prayered palms to heart center. Let's do this again. Inhaling, arms up overhead slowly. Prayered palms to heart center. So starting with a half Vinyasa. So this is done standing, forward folding, and then rising up again, instead of stepping back to a high plank and all of that jazz. So we'll start with a half Vinyasa with me. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down, hinge at the hips. Fold forward, fingertips come towards the floor. They may not touch. If they don't, you can bend your knees. Sliding hands up the shins for a halfway rise. So if you take a side view of me right now, you'll want to make sure that your spine isn't rounded, but that your spine is long. So the head and neck are an extension of the spine, so don't let the head fall down and don't arch and shorten the back of the neck. Find a nice long spine gazing at the floor. Knees can still be bent if your hamstrings are a little tight. Exhale, fold forward, let the head and arms hang. Inhale, reverse swan rise, arms sweep out to the side, fingers wide, eyes wide open, deep breath in. Prayered palms to heart center. So this is your half Vinyasa. Let's do it again. Inhale, arms sweep up. Exhale, swan dive down, hinge at the waist, lead with the heart, fold forward nice and slow, head and heart low. Inhale to a halfway rise. Remember, bending the knees at any time to help the spine get long is completely acceptable. Exhale, full fold. Inhale, swan rise, arms sweep up to the sky. And we'll try again. This time we'll prayer the palms and forward fold, keeping the hands in prayer as you fold forward. Just another variation for you to try. Hands towards the floor. Inhale, halfway rise. Knees bent or straight legs. Lengthen spine. Exhale, full fold. Reverse swan rise to lift. Open through the heart, arms reaching wide, fingertips to the sky, prayered palms. So that is your half vinyasa. So we'll move on, which includes us stepping back into high plank. And remember, you don't ever have to do a full vinyasa in class. Your yoga instructor will never require that of you. It's completely up to you, whether that's in your practice or not. So let's try it, perhaps. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down, arms wide or prayered palms, whatever you want. Inhaling to a halfway rise. Here's where we move on. Exhale, plant the hands, step back one leg and then the other, or you can walk back baby steps. Shoulders over the wrists, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles in one diagonal line. Curl the belly button up towards the sternum. Press harder into your hands. Feel your shoulder blades widen. Here is your core plank, to be done on the knees as well. So since we're starting with beginner, we're going to bring the tops of the feet to the floor, and you're going to exhale, soften back to extended child's pose. Arms are still outreached, allowing yourself to have nice long arms, nice long spine. It's okay if your hips don't go all the way down to your heels, not necessary. So you'll inhale, lift away from the heels, round through cat spine. It's always nice to get a stretch in between. Unfurl the spine to your modified plank. So if you get an aerial shot from me here, it's important to keep the arms bent and squeezing into the side waist. So as you lower down, here's your modified chaturanga. Exhaling, lower all the way down. Squeeze elbows into the side waist, lower down. Tops of the feet still press into the floor. Kneecaps lift, engaging. And then you keep extending through the crown of the head. Lift your head, lift your heart. Tops of the feet still pressing. Maybe float the hands. Test your backside body strength. Exhale, lower down. By the way, that was a locust pose variation. And as you press yourself away from the floor, engage the belly away from the floor first, and then press back, strong arms, to extended child's pose. So we'll do that one more time. Inhaling, round through cat spine, modified plank. Exhale, elbows squeeze into the side waist, all the way down. Tops of the feet press into the floor. Inhale to your low cobra or modified locust pose. Maybe you play around with full locust, lifting the legs, lifting the feet, active through those feet. You can either point the toes or you can floint the toes, which means point your feet, flex your toes back toward your shin. Maybe you float the hands. So different arm variations here in locust pose can be arms back alongside the body or arms up overhead, whatever you prefer. Exhale, lower down. Pressing into the hands, lifting, engage core away from the floor, press back through all fours to extended child's pose. So that is more of a basic vinyasa, which I admittedly take a number of times during class. And the reason for that is because it's also nice to know when your body needs a little bit of a break. So just because you see everyone else in class doing these chaturanga push-ups or things that are really challenging for them, they might not work for your practice. So don't be afraid to do whatever it is on your mat, because you're there for you, not for them. So let's move on. We're going to lift the hips back and up to down dog just so we can step forward. And again, in down dog, just a reminder, always index finger knuckle firmly planted, softening the head between the upper arms, but still an extension of the spine. So don't let your head hang and don't arch your neck. Keep extending long, like the crown of the head reaches the space between the hands. Always bending the knees if you need to for a long spine. So we don't want a rounded spine with long legs. We want long spine, maybe with bent legs. So let's bend the knees, look forward between the hands, step or walk to the front of the mat. So you can take a couple steps or you can take one big step. Important to keep the hands down towards the floor. So even if you come to the fingertips when you walk forward, that's fine. Inhaling to a halfway rise, lengthen spine, same as before. Exhale to full fold. Here's your reverse swan rise to lift. Inhale. Sweep up. Eyes big, breath deep. So to avoid getting that lightheaded feeling, that dizzy feeling when you go from down to up, that's why I say eyes wide open, big breath in. So just remember that. If you do feel a little bit dizzy, eyes wide open, big breath in. So we're going to move on. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Exhale, I'm going to prayer my palms to forward fold. Inhaling to a halfway rise. Maybe your hamstrings are stretchy enough where you can keep your fingers on the floor and lengthen the spine. Exhale, full fold. Plant the hands. You can step back one leg and then the other. We're starting to move a little bit more into the advanced versions here. So we step back into high plank instead of walk back into high plank. First level here is allowing shoulders to be over the wrists. Legs are long. And again, aerial shot if you can get it. Exhale to lower down. Elbows squeeze into the side waist all the way down. Tops of the feet press to the floor. Now we tent the fingertips. So come to the pads of your fingers. Tops of the feet still pressing into the floor, and we keep this active in our lower back so that we can allow it to be protected. If you let the lower back release, then there's more chance of you pinching and discomfort. So we inhale, press into the hands, tops of the feet still active to your low cobra. Roll the shoulder blades back, open through the heart. Here's your low cobra. Exhale, lower down. I'm going to show you higher cobra. Inhaling, wave the spine to rise, press a little bit higher. And you notice that my chin is still working towards my chest and it's not lifting up. Sometimes we do that in different postures, but for today, right now, we'll stay here. If the fingertips tented is too much, then plant the hands. If your low back is bothering you, engage lower belly. Exhale, lower down. Curl the toes under, shift back through all fours, and then to down dog. So you'll notice that vinyasas usually consist of that movement from high to low, push up. Inhale, low to high cobra or upward facing dog, and then back to down dog. So that is in essence what a vinyasa is. So we're going to bend the knees, look forward between the hands, step or walk or hop. I'm going to step to the front of the mat. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, full fold. Follow the breath. Inhale, swan rise. Prayered hands to heart center. So we're going to move on with some more advanced variations of this posture. And it'll include chaturanga, maybe even a couple chaturanga push-ups, not really sure yet. We'll see how my arms are feeling today. And then what we'll also go through is different variations for the advanced or more challenging versions of vinyasa. So just to clarify, vinyasa, if you go to a vinyasa class, that means intentional breath and body placement. So that means that your breath and movements align. So 1 breath per movement. Inhale up, exhale prayered palms. Inhale lift, exhale step back. So linking breath and movement is what Vinyasa means. Also, the Vinyasa is that series that we're working through here that you can do any variation of. You can piecemeal it together, puzzle it together, whatever you'd like. So let's keep going. Inhale the arms up. Your version of the forward fold. Inhale to a halfway rise. And we're gonna hop back, plant the hands. We'll take a couple hops this time. So to do that, you're gonna rock forward into the hands and give your feet a little bit more of that weightlessness feeling. And then you're gonna hop your feet maybe half the way back and then full way, but we'll end up in chaturanga, we'll end up in high push-up, plank pose. So bend the knees, press into the hands, lift the hips, hop halfway back. Lower belly fires up. Let's do it again. Hop all the way back. High plank. You can also hop down to chaturanga. We'll do that after. So moving on, advancing a little bit further. When you're in high plank here, another option is to shift your shoulders over the fingertips. So you do this coming to the very tips of your toes. Lower belly fire up. Exhale, lower halfway down. Here's chaturanga. You're hovering all the way down. Tent the fingertips, option to open hands wider than mat width distance, elbows bent to the sky. Inhale, low or high cobra. Exhale, lower down. Draw hands back and alongside the ribs. Option to curl the toes under and come through straight push-up to down dog. So this takes a lot of energy. Get ready. As you exhale, lift up 1 plank to down dog. So we'll wait here for about 3 breaths. Find that natural flow of your breath again. See if you can slow it down. Take a moment to lengthen the spine. So I always like to gently bend my knees, lift sits bones to the sky. Find the long spine, hollow out the belly, and then soften the heels back down. Big breath in, big breath out. Bend the knees, look forward between the hands. Since we hopped back, we're gonna hop forward. Let's take 2 hops to get there. Bend the knees, lift the hips, and step or hop halfway. Here's the fun part. Try not to over hop to the front of the mat. Been there, done that. Make sure there's nothing in front of you just in case. Bend the knees, little hop, not too much energy, to the front of the mat. Inhale to a halfway rise, fingers to the floor or hands to the shins, lengthen neck. Exhale, full fold. Inhale, swan rise. Prayered palms to heart center. So for this next Vinyasa variation, we're going to hover through chaturanga, maybe do a chaturanga push-up or 2. But these are really important for upper body strength gaining. So if you want to do any kind of arm balances or things in your personal practice, chaturanga and plank pose are probably 2 of the most difficult but readily available in our practice, postures for us to use to build the strength. So try not to stay away from them if you can. They say that the practice or the postures that you like the least are the ones you should do the most, so keep that in mind. So let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive down or forward fold. Inhale to a halfway rise. We're going to plant the hands, bend the knees, and jump back to chaturanga. Try to keep your gaze down to the mat and try not to jump back, but just shoot the feet out. So instead of pressing into the hands and thinking, oh, I'm going to jump back, think about just lifting the feet and softening the heart towards the space between the hands. So we're going to take this chance. Bend the knees, hop back to chaturanga. Stay here, tops of the feet to the floor. Here's our first up dog. So the difference between up dog and what we've been doing, low or high cobra, if you take a side look for me, you'll see my legs are off of the floor. So this being cobra, and pressing tops of the feet into the floor, this being up dog. Coming back to down dog, lift the hips back and up, rolling over the toes back to the soles of the feet. Breathing in, breathing out. Bend the knees, and usually you stay in your down dog for 3 to 5 breaths, being it is your resting pose. Bend the knees, look forward between the hands, one big hop to the front of the mat. Take it easy. Inhale to a halfway rise, fingers to the floor or shins. Exhale to full fold. Maybe you take an opportunity here. Open your feet about hip width distance, grabbing the backs of the ankles and soften belly button and ribs, and then heart towards the legs. Are you still breathing? Knees can be bent if you need to. Releasing hands from the backs of the legs. Inhale, swan rise. Prayered palms to heart center. So we'll do that again, last time. So you'll notice if you've been working this with me, it builds the heat. So these vinyasas are the warm-up before all the balance postures and the warriors. So this is Sun A. It's your first vinyasa. There's Sun B where you add other postures in. For example, Warrior 1 is in Sun B. Also Utkatasana, chair pose, Sun B. But this is Sun A. So we like to start basic and build our way up. Inhaling, arms up overhead. This is the last vinyasa. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to a halfway rise, fingertips to the floor or to the knees or shins. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back to chaturanga. Low push-up, tops of the feet to the floor. Inhale to up dog. Hips are off of the floor, engage lower belly, protect your back. And then lift the hips back and up, rolling over the toes to down dog. Stay here for a moment just to get the last down dog in. This may feel like a resting pose now, but perhaps it didn't at first. It depends on how much work you do. So let's come down to all fours. Sit back, extended child's pose. Your knees can be wide, your toes can be in. Extend the arms out long. Bring your forehead to the floor, or if that's not accessible, you can stack 2 fists and then bring your forehead to the top fist. Take a moment here if you feel comfortable to close your eyes. Find your breath again. Inhaling and exhaling. Slowly releasing forehead from the hands, walk the hands back in towards the knees, draw knees back together, and then off to one side, bring the feet forward. Bring the soles of the feet together. Your feet can make a diamond shape or you can draw them in, really depends on your preference. Hands to the shins, lift nice and tall. Exhale, fold forward. Let the elbows press the knees open as you fold forward. And if you get far enough, maybe just bring your head down towards the feet. Couple breaths here, inhaling. Exhaling. Slowly come up. Let's take the left leg, draw it in, extend right leg long. Sit up nice and tall. Take your right elbow, hook across the knee, and left hand behind you. Let's take a twist. Gazing over that left shoulder. Keep breathing. And back through center. We're going to counter twist. So bring the hands to your right. And back to center. Hug that leg in. Extend the leg long. Right knee in. Left leg long. Sit nice and tall. Hook the elbow. Right hand behind you. Inhale to extend. Exhale to twist. Gaze over that back shoulder. So the longer the spine in your twist, the more complete you'll be able to get. Or the more of a complete twist you'll be able to get. Coming back to center. Hug both knees in. Inhaling. Exhaling, pour yourself forward over your thighs. Let your hands kind of hang across the ankles. Let the head shift side to side. So now would be the perfect time for you to lay down and take a nice little Shavasana. However, I will not lead you through that today. So it's up to you whether you choose to lay and exist in quiet space for a little while if you have time. However, I hope that you felt or you feel like you have more knowledge of what vinyasas are and hopefully will demystify them little by little. So watch this video again and see if you can get a better understanding of how vinyasas will work in your practice so that next time you go to yoga class, you won't have to look around and see what everyone else is doing, because what's important is right here. So take it step by step. Thank you for watching. Namaste.